soy sauce packets on the single table inside. The bespectacled woman at the counter looked up from her newspaper to meet his gaze. He looked away and walked on, past an old movie theater with empty poster casings and a blank marquee, a dog-grooming salon, its windows filled with faded snapshots of a man with orange hair grinning over various pooches made ridiculous by his labors, past a 5 and dime converted to a Goodwill, and a tailor shop with a closed sign in the window. On the corner stood an abandoned Mobil station, windows boarded over the pumps long gone. Burke stopped and looked up at the winged red horse still rearing over the lot, then took in the block he'd just traveled. A stooped woman in an overcoat was hobbling down the opposite sidewalk, the only person in sight. It might have been a street in his hometown, with its own bankrupt industries and air of stagnation. Burke's widowed mother still lived in the old house. He visited dutifully with his wife, who claimed to find the town charming and soothingly tranquil, but Burke couldn't imagine living there and wasn't sure why anyone else did. In fact, it seemed to him that for all the talk of family and faith and neighborliness, the heartland virtues held up in rebuke of competitive, materialistic Gomorrahs like San Francisco, there was something not quite wholesome in this placidity, something lazy and sensual. Burke felt it when he wandered the streets of his hometown, and he felt it now. He crossed against the light, quickening his pace. He would have to move smartly to make it back in time. All signs of commerce ended at the gas station. He passed several blocks of small houses squeezed together on puny lots, no doubt the homes of those who'd spent their lives in the factories. Most of them were in bad repair, roofs sagging, paint scaling, screens rusted out. No disposable income around here. Burke knew the story. He'd bet the farm on it. Unions broken or bought off. Salaries and benefits steadily cut under threats of layoffs that happened anyway as the jobs went to foreign wage slaves. The owners, meanwhile, conjuring up jolly visions of the corporate family and better days to come before selling out just in time to duck the fines for a century of fouling the river. Then the new owners, vultures with MBAs, gliding in to sack the pension fund before declaring bankruptcy. Burke knew the whole story, and it disgusted him. Especially the workers who'd let the owners screw them like this while patting them on the head, congratulating them for being the backbone of the country, salt of the earth, the true Americans. Jesus! And still they ate it up and voted like robbers instead of the robbed. Served them right. Burke's pounding heart sent a rush of heat to his face and left him strangely light-headed, as if he were floating above the sidewalk. He took the hill in long, thrusting strides. A boy with blonde dreadlocks was raking leaves into a garbage bag. As Burke went past, the boy leaned on the rake and gaped at him, a jarring, surf-like percussion leaking from his headphones. The whole country was being hollowed out like this, devoured from the inside, with nobody fighting back. It was embarrassing and vaguely shameful to watch people get pushed around without a fight. That's why he'd taken on his little pop-eyed pug of a client with the fucked-up hand. She was a battler, stonewalled at every turn, bombarded with demands for documents, secretly videotaped, insulted with dinky settlement offers, even threatened with a countersuit. She just lowered her head and kept coming. She'd spent all her savings going after the surgeon who'd messed her up, to the point where she'd had to move to San Francisco to live with her son, a paralegal in Burke's firm. Her lawyer, back here in New Delft, had suffered a stroke and bowed out. The case was a long shot, but Burke had taken it on contingency because he knew she wouldn't back off, that she'd keep pushing right to the end. And now, it seemed, she might have a chance after all. They'd gotten a break the past month hearing about this nurse's complaints to his now embittered ex-girlfriend. The account Burke had of these conversations was hearsay, not enough in itself to take to court or even to compel a fair settlement, but it told him that the witness harbored feelings of guilt and anger, that he had some pride and resented being made party to a maiming. He was, no doubt, under great pressure to stand by the surgeon, but the witness hadn't actually denied seeing what he'd seen or saying what he'd said.